Akashvani, and I'm Sunil Verma with the midday news. The headlines. 18th G20 Summit comes to a close at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi proposes a virtual session of G20 leaders in November this year. Prime Minister Modi officially hands over G20 Presidency to Brazilian President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva. G20 leaders pay homage to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. US President Joe Biden describes agreement for India-Middle East-Europe economic corridor as game-changing regional investment. American teenage tennis sensation Coco Gauff clinches maiden US Open women's singles title in thrilling victory over Aryna Sabalenka. And in cricket, India to take on Pakistan in Super 4 clash of Asia Cup in Colombo this afternoon. The 18th G20 Summit successfully concluded in New Delhi today, with India handing over the presidency to Brazil. In the closing ceremony, Prime Minister Narendra Modi handed over the ceremonial gavel to President of Brazil, Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva.
इसी के साथ मैं G20 समिट के समापन की घोषणा करता हूं। वन अर्थ, वन फैमिली, वन फ्यूचर का रोड मैप सुखद हो। स्वस्ति अस्तु विश्वस्य, यानी संपूर्ण विश्व में आशा और शांति का संचार हो। 140 करोड़ भारतीयों की इसी मंगल कामना के साथ आप सभी का बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Speaking on this occasion, Mr. Modi expressed confidence that under the presidency of Brazil, the G20 would be able to achieve the common goals. He also proposed that one virtual session of the G20 forum may be conducted at the end of November to review the progress of the agenda decided in this summit.
जैसा आप सब जानते हैं, भारत के पास नवंबर तक G20 प्रेसिडेंसी की भी जिम्मेदारी है। अभी 2.5 महीने बाकी हैं। इन 2 दिनों में आप सभी ने अनेक बातें यहाँ रखी हैं, सुझाव दिए हैं, बहुत सारे प्रस्ताव रखे हैं। हमारी ये जिम्मेदारी है कि जो सुझाव आए हैं उनको भी एक बार फिर देखा जाए कि उनकी प्रगति में गति कैसे लाई जा सकती है। मेरा प्रस्ताव है कि हम नवंबर के अंत में G20 का एक वर्चुअल सेशन और रखें। इस समिट के दौरान तय विषयों की समीक्षा कर सकते हैं। इन सब की डिटेल्स हमारी टीम आप सभी के साथ शेयर करेगी। मैं उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप सब इससे जुड़ेंगे।
After receiving the gavel, the Brazil president said, in the present world, wealth is more concentrated while millions of human beings still go hungry. He underlined the need to address the issue of inequality in income, healthcare, education, food and gender. Earlier, Prime Minister Modi chaired the third session, namely One Future. Chief Coordinator for India's G20 Presidency, Harshvardhan Shringla, said during the summit, African Union's inclusion in G20 and adoption of New Delhi Declaration is a huge achievement for India.
बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण आउटकम रहा, न्यू दिल्ली डिक्लेरेशन रहा। उससे पहले अफ्रीकन यूनियन को G20 में परमानेंट मेंबर का सदस्य बनाया गया। ये सब हमारी अध्यक्षता में ये बहुत ही भारी सिग्निफिकेंट डेवलपमेंट्स हैं। मल्टीलैटरल प्रोसेस में नॉर्मली ये जब नेगोशिएशंस है लास्ट मिनट तक जाती है। हमारे पहला दिन में दोपहर को ही प्रधानमंत्री जी ने अनाउंस किया दिल्ली डिक्लेरेशन अडॉप्ट हो गया। सभी G20 देशों के समर्थन के साथ अडॉप्ट हुआ बाय कंसेंसस, और ये हमारे लिए और हमारे प्रयासों के लिए एक बहुत ही महत्वपूर्ण आउटकम रहा।
And now let's go over to our correspondent Suparna to get more insights about the summit. Suparna, could you please give us an update on the summit?
Yes, Sunil. In the morning today, the global leaders started their day by visiting Rajghat to pay tributes to Mahatma Gandhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed them, and US President Joe Biden, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, French President Emmanuel Macron, and were among the leaders who laid wreaths at the Samadhi of Bapu. President of Indonesia and President of Brazil handed over a sapling to Prime Minister Modi ahead of Session 3, which was held on the theme of One Future. And during the session, the Prime Minister stressed that the world should move from the concept of global village to global family. He said instead of GDP-centric approach, human-centric vision should be adopted. And the Prime Minister said a decision has been taken to launch Data for Development Capacity Building Initiative for the development of Global South. The sidelines of the G20 Summit, several bilateral meetings have also been lined up for today. Sunil.
And if you could sum up the significant outcomes of the summit, Suparna.
Yeah. The unanimous adoption of the New Delhi Leaders' Declaration is being seen as a significant victory for India's G20 presidency. And another major diplomatic victory under India's presidency is the inclusion of African Union as a permanent member in the grouping. And Prime Minister, along with the leaders of Singapore, Bangladesh, Italy, US, Brazil, Argentina, Mauritius, and UAE launched the Global Biofuel Alliance yesterday. And also India, Middle East, Europe mega economic corridor deal was also announced on the sidelines of the summit yesterday. And these two decisions, Sunil, are being seen as major takeaways from the summit.
Thank you for that update, Suparna. On the first day of the summit yesterday, the G20 member nations unanimously adopted the New Delhi Leaders' Declaration. It is being seen as a significant victory for India's G20 presidency. Our correspondent highlights the significant points of the declaration.
India's image of the voice of Global South reflects in the 37-page declaration, which says that member countries need to urgently accelerate their action to address development, climate challenges, promote lifestyles for sustainable development, and conserve biodiversity, forests, and oceans. It advocates a scaling of financing from all sources to accelerating progress on SDGs. It recognizes the importance of WTO's Aid for Trade initiative to enable developing countries to effectively participate in the global trade. Strengthening global health and implementing One Health approach is also a key aspect of the declaration, which focuses on strengthening primary health care, health workforce, improving essential health services and health systems to better than pre-pandemic levels, ideally within the next 2-3 years. Ending plastic pollution got mention in the declaration. Financing cities of tomorrow got special mention, which emphasizes the need for enhanced mobilization of finances and efficient use of existing resources in our efforts to make the cities of tomorrow inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. Artificial intelligence got mentioned in the declaration, which says that it promotes responsible AI for achieving SDGs. Women-led development was one of the core issues of discussion, and the declaration says that members will promote women's inclusion into the financial system by strengthening their access to economic resources, particularly through digital finance and microfinance. Member countries also agreed on creating a working group on women's empowerment. Nothing concrete came on much anticipated cryptocurrency issue. With Sushil Chandra Tiwari, Lakshmi, Akashwani News, Delhi.
Meanwhile, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his wife Akshata Murthy visited the Akshardham temple this morning and offered prayers. US President Joe Biden has left for Vietnam after attending the G20 summit in New Delhi. G20 leaders paid homage to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat today morning. Prime Minister Narendra Modi welcomed them at the Rajghat. US President Joe Biden, UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, French President Emmanuel Macron, Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, President of South Korea Yoon Suk-yeol, among other leaders, laid wreaths at the Samadhi of Mahatma Gandhi. Later, in a social media post, Prime Minister Modi said that at the iconic Rajghat, the G20 family paid homage to Mahatma Gandhi, the beacon of peace, service, compassion and non-violence. He said, as diverse nations converge, Mahatma Gandhi's timeless ideals guide our collective vision for a harmonious, inclusive and prosperous global future. This is Akashwani giving you the news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. US President Joe Biden has hailed the historic agreement for a new India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor (IMEC) and described it as a game-changing regional investment taking to X. President Biden said the project would bridge ports across two continents and would make it easier to trade, export clean energy, and expand access to reliable clean electricity. He further said it will make it easier to lay cables that will connect communities that secure a stable internet, and added that it will unlock sustainable and inclusive economic growth. Yesterday, India, along with the US and several other major economies, unveiled an ambitious infrastructure initiative of a railway and shipping corridor aimed at enhancing commerce, energy, and digital connectivity. The President and the CEO of the US-India Strategic Partnership Forum, Dr. Mukesh Aghi, said, "The New Delhi declaration adopted at the G20 Summit is a success story for India, which has sent out a message that it has arrived as a rising global power." Speaking to media persons in New Delhi, Mukesh Aghi said, "The approach of the Biden administration is very structural." He said, "The structural approach is comprehensively looking at geopolitical issues, looking at economic issues, climate, technology, immigration, and technological transfers." He added that both nations are undertaking a very strong structural approach in the direction of Indo-US technological and defense cooperation. India's first solar mission, Aditya L1, has successfully performed the third earthbound maneuver. Indian Space Research Organisation ISRO said the third earthbound maneuver is performed successfully from IceTrack, Bengaluru. ISRO's ground stations at Mauritius, Bengaluru, SDSC Shar and Port Blair tracked the satellite during this operation. ISRO added that the next maneuver is scheduled for September the 15th, 2023, around 0200 hours IST. In Morocco, the death toll from a 6.8 magnitude earthquake has risen to over 2,000, while about 1,400 are said to be injured. As per reports, the rescue teams are yet to reach out to more victims who are said to be stuck in remote areas hard hit by the quake, and the toll is likely to go up. The devastating quake on Friday night was epicentered at a sparsely populated area of the high Atlas Mountains around 71 kilometers southwest of Marrakesh. India Meteorological Department IMD has forecast fairly widespread to widespread rainfall activity over Goa and Madhya Maharashtra for today and over Madhya Pradesh till tomorrow. IMD has also forecast moderate to widespread rainfall activity over Andaman and Nicobar Islands till the 12th of this month and over Odisha on the 12th and the 13th. IMD said rainfall activity is also expected today over Ghat areas of Tamil Nadu, Puducherry and Karaikal, and tomorrow in Kerala and Mahe, and over coastal Andhra Pradesh and Telangana for 2 days from the 12th of this month. In US Open tennis, American teenage tennis sensation Coco Gauff secured her maiden women's singles title, defeating Aryna Sabalenka in the title clash in New York today. Gauff produced a gutsy performance on the Arthur Ashe Stadium court to win 2-6, 6-3, 6-2. In a span of 40 days, Gauff has won 3 huge titles and a total of 18 out of her 19 previous matches. She previously won the Washington Open and Cincinnati Open in August. In Asia Cup Cricket 2023, India will take on Pakistan in a Super 4 clash at Premadasa International Cricket Stadium in Colombo today. The match will start at 3 p.m. IST. A reserve day has been incorporated for the Asia Cup 2023 Super 4's match between India and Pakistan. If adverse weather suspends play during the Pakistan vs India game, the match will continue on the 11th of September from the point it was suspended. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. 18th G20 Summit comes to a close at Bharat Mandapam in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi proposes a virtual session of G20 leaders in November this year. Prime Minister Modi officially hands over G20 Presidency to Brazilian President Luiz Inacio Lula da Silva. G20 leaders pay homage to Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. US President Joe Biden describes agreement for India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor as game-changing regional investment. American teenage tennis sensation Coco Gauff clinches maiden US Open women's singles title in thrilling victory over Aryna Sabalenka. And in cricket, India to take on Pakistan in Super 4 clash of Asia Cup in Colombo this afternoon. And with that, we end the midday news.